Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. One thing that really stressed me out as a high school student was kind of asking for a letter of recommendation for summer internships, summer jobs, college applications, whatever. Because you're kind of asking for a huge favor from a teacher, which is that can you spend a lot of time to kind of draft up a recommendation letter and write it for my application? And it's asking for a lot of work from somebody, and so you kind of have to ask it in like very polite manner, share as much details as possible, make sure that there's a method to kind of to like back out if they don't want to and things like that. And so this is kind of a sample template email that I drafted up that you can use to ask for a letter of recommendation from your teacher for college applications or internships or whatever. So yeah, feel free to just steal this template. But dear Mr. or Mrs., I hope that this email finds you well. I'm reaching out to request a letter of recommendation for my college applications as one of my favorite teachers and someone who had a significant impact on my academic and personal growth. I'd be honored if you would consider writing a letter of recommendation on my behalf. So over here, if you want to go into a little bit more detail, that's fine too. Like you taught me X, Y, and Z that had a huge impact on my career or something like that. But this is generally a pretty good opening. Um, and then here you could, if you're applying to like a specific internship, you could say like I'm applying to the emergency hospital volunteer position, or I'm applying to several colleges and universities, or something like that, right? Or I'm applying to colleges and BSMD programs, or I'm applying to tech colleges, or something like that. And I believe that your recommendation would help me stand out as a strong and dedicated student. Your insights into my academic abilities, work ethic, and personal character would be invaluable to my applications. I understand that you may receive many requests for letters of recommendation that your time is valuable, so I'm happy to provide any additional information you may need to write a strong and glowing letter. I would be happy to provide you with my resume, transcripts, or other materials that may be helpful. And sometimes I get questions that like, should I just send everything along with the initial email? And I kind of sometimes think that if you're asking and then you're also sending your resume, it kind of feels a little bit too forceful. So I usually like kind of saying that I'll provide it to you if you want to write my letter of recommendation. And if you were able to write my letter of recommendation for me, please let me know, and I will provide you with the necessary information and materials. Thank you so much for your time and consideration, and for all that you've done to support me throughout my high school career. Sincerely, your name. And I think that this is a pretty solid template that you can use to kind of ask your teachers for a letter of recommendation. So some of my teachers actually addressed letter of recommendations in the classes, and they told me that they would um, they would prefer if we just asked in person rather than sending emails. And obviously you have to also balance whether your teacher prefers that you ask in person or if they prefer like you know you just sending an email. Sometimes I would send emails, sometimes I would ask in person. But ideally, generally, it's a good idea to only ask teachers that you kind of know that they're going to say yes. You don't want to kind of ask a teacher who might be iffy or might, unless you really really need that letter of recommendation. It should kind of be like this email at this point is sort of a formality that you're sending, and that you kind of know that they're going to say yes to writing your letter because you're just that great of a student, or that you have helped them in some way, or that you've been just a standout person and had a great personality in the classroom or things like that. But that's kind of like the idea behind these recommendation letters and recommendation emails, is that ideally they're just going to write it, and it's not too nerve-wracking for you to send it. But in general, I think that this is totally an acceptable template that you can use, that a lot of my students have used to kind of get great letters of recommendation from their teachers. And if they say yes, make sure that you reply with your resume, maybe um, like any necessary information that they ask for. Sometimes they ask for like a list of stories that you could write so that they can kind of use those stories in the application material. Sometimes they ask for like a list of colleges you're applying to, but whatever it is, you can kind of use that to, um, you can reply with, those necessary materials. But I really hope that this was a helpful video. Feel free to leave any questions that you have down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to get back to you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.